Why did he say biologics, not beings? Clinical, evasive, carefully chosen. Former intelligence officer David Grush didn't say aliens or extraterrestrials. He said biologics. Non-human biologics. A bloodless phrase, like he was describing lab samples, not pilots. Not creatures, not whatever they are. This wasn't an accident. When Representative Nancy Mace asked if the bodies had been recovered from crashed UAPs, Grush replied, "Biologics came with some of these recoveries." She pressed him, human or non-human. He answered simply, non-human. In that single word, biologics, lies a vault of implications. Life that isn't human, origins unknown, identities unnamed. Today, we are opening that vault. So let's establish what we actually know. Documented, testified, or at least credibly alleged. Grush is a decorated Air Force officer and former member of the UAP task force. He testified under oath that the U.S. government has recovered craft of non-human origin, along with biological material. He stressed this assessment came from colleagues with direct knowledge, people who actually saw these things. In interviews, he went further, suggesting these objects might come from extra dimensions beyond ordinary spacetime. And he's not alone. The 2002 Wilson Davis memo notes from a meeting between aerospace engineer Eric Davis and Admiral Thomas Wilson allegedly describes a classified program holding recovered craft and possibly alien occupants. The language in that memo mirrors Grush's careful phrasing, indirect coded. Wilson was reportedly told they have a craft and deceased, with the last word conspicuously redacted. Then there's the Pentagon's own AARO report from March 2024. It mentions that the DoD personnel proposed a program codenamed Kona Blue to cover up the retrieval and exploitation of non-human biologics. That exact phrase, in a government document predating Grush's testimony, suggests non-human biologics may be established terminology in compartmented circles. Now, AARO officially says it found no evidence of extraterrestrial craft or bodies. NASA says the same thing. But here's the pattern. In public, officials deny everything. In closed briefings and leaked documents, the careful language, biologics, materials, exotic craft, tells a different story. Retired Army Colonel Philip Corso claimed he saw a humanoid cadaver from a 1947 crash floating in a bluish fluid. 4 feet tall, gray skin, 4-fingered hands, oversized head, the archetype of a gray alien. But Corso suggested something more provocative. These creatures weren't so much pilots as biological drones, cloned entities designed for space travel. This distinction matters. Grush never claimed living alien individuals, only biologics, possibly tissue samples, possibly engineered life forms, possibly something we don't have a category for. Here's what's striking. Every few decades, insiders step forward with claims of crashed disks and recovered bodies. The establishment dismisses them. The story fades, rinse, and repeat. In 1947, Roswell set the template. Army press releases announce a flying disc recovery, then retract it as a weather balloon. Local witnesses quietly mention small bodies at the crash site. A nurse describes child-sized coffins and a foul ammonia odor. Early murmurs of non-human biologics, decades before that term existed. In the 1950s and through the Cold War, rumors of Project Moondust and Blue Fly, teams tasked with securing UFO debris worldwide. The 1965 Kecksburg incident, an object whisked away by military with local talk of a humanoid body. In the 1990s, Corso and others come forward. Air Force Sergeant Clifford Stone claims to have helped recover multiple alien types. They describe beings matching recurring archetypes, small grays with large heads, tall, Nordic, human-like entities, even reptilian and insectoid forms. Witnesses across continents and decades describing remarkably consistent anatomy. The 1960 Brookings Institution report warned NASA that discovering extraterrestrial life could cause profound societal upheaval. It advised that authorities might consider withholding such information. By then, crash rumors were already circulating. Someone was asking, what if it's true? What then? The answer, apparently, was secrecy. So if non-human biologics exist in government vaults, what are they? Let's test 5 theories against the evidence. Hypothesis 1. Extraterrestrial visitors. The classic interpretation. Alien beings from another planet. The Greys from Zeta Reticuli. The tall Nordics. The insectoid commanders some abductees describe standing behind the smaller ones like overseers. Evidence 4. We have decades of consistent witness descriptions, radar tracking of craft entering from space, physical characteristics suggesting an adaptation to different environments, large eyes for low light, possible telepathic communication, bodies that witnesses say smelled of ammonia, suggesting different atmospheric chemistry. Questions raised: why are there so many types? How did they survive interstellar distances? And if insiders know these are extraterrestrial, why avoid that word so carefully? Hypothesis number 2 is cryptoterrestrials. What if they didn't come from the stars, but they're from here? An advanced non-human intelligence that evolved alongside us, hiding underground or under the oceans. We have supporting evidence such as countless UFOs emerging from or diving into water, USOs, unidentified submersible objects. The Tic Tac craft encountered by the USS Nimitz was first spotted hovering over churning ocean, as if it emerged from below. Admiral Timothy Gallaudet has openly speculated that they might have lived here for a long time, seeking safety under the seafloor. The Grey's appearance could fit an underground dweller, large eyes for cave darkness, gray skin from lack of sun. Ancient myths across cultures speak of others sharing our world in secret, serpent beings, water gods, hidden people. This would explain the linguistic caution. Calling them non-human avoids the assumption they're from another planet. Maybe they're not aliens. Maybe they're neighbors we never knew about. Hypothesis number 3 is interdimensional beings. When Grush mentioned extra dimensions, he opened the door. What if these entities aren't from another place in our universe, but from a parallel dimension or higher plane of reality? This might explain the strangest aspects of the encounters: beings that walk through walls, craft that blink in and out of existence, abductees reporting out-of-body experiences. If the phenomenon manipulates dimensions rather than just traveling through space, what crashes might be analogous to a malfunctioning interface between worlds? The biologics under this model might be avatars, biological constructs these intelligences use to interact with our physical reality. Not their true form, but a projection body, maybe even a disposable one. This theory fits why insiders seem genuinely uncertain about origin. If autopsies found baffling anatomy, organs with no clear function, cellular structures unlike known evolution, scientists might not know what category to put them in. Non-human biologic becomes the only honest label. Hypothesis 4 is future humans. Here is a wild one. What if the biologics are us, evolved Homo sapiens from centuries ahead, traveling back through time to study their ancestors? Think about it. Greys resemble what biologists project humans might become. Larger brains, reduced musculature from relying on technology, smaller bodies to conserve resources. H.G. Wells predicted this in 1893. The description matches almost perfectly. This would explain why so many aliens are surprisingly humanoid, bipedal, 2 eyes, similar proportions. Close genetic compatibility would be expected from future humans, not from beings evolved on distant worlds. The reported focus on human reproduction during abductions. Future humans gathering fresh DNA to address genetic problems in their timeline. And their behavior fits too: observing without conquering, hovering over nuclear sites, ensuring their ancestors don't annihilate themselves, taking samples like anthropologists studying the past. They can't intervene directly without creating paradoxes, but accidents happen, and when they do, past governments recover the evidence. Hypothesis number 5, synthetic constructs. This may be the most unsettling and the most consistent with the language used. What if the biologics aren't natural beings at all? What if they're manufactured? Corso called the Roswell aliens biological robots, not born, but grown. No reproductive organs, no digestive system. Possibly expendable crew designed for dangerous missions. If you're sending craft across light years, you don't risk your citizens, you send engineered organisms tailored for the journey. Witnesses consistently describe Greys as emotionally detached, acting in unison, almost drone-like. Multiple identical beings recovered from single crashes, consistent with cloning, not natural reproduction. Some accounts mention tissue samples showing silicon threads within organic matrix, as if circuitry was embedded in flesh. Under this model, biologics is the perfect term. They are biological products, living tools, but they're not people. The term avoids the awkwardness of calling manufactured creatures beings or individuals. We'd use similar language for lab-grown organs. The disturbing implication is, whoever made them is still out there. We haven't met the tool maker, but only the tools. So why does this matter? If non-human biologics exist in government vaults, the implications are staggering. From a science perspective, examining organisms not of human lineage could revolutionize medicine and genetics. If these beings endure high acceleration and radiation, their tissues might contain self-repair mechanisms we've never seen. Neural interfaces allowing telepathy could leapfrog our brain-computer research by decades. The ships tell us how they travel. The bodies might tell us why they're here. Isotopic ratios in their tissues could reveal what environment they grew in. Their anatomy could explain how craft and pilot integrate. From an existential perspective, having these bodies would force us to confront intelligent life as biological reality. Every religion, philosophy, and society would grapple with this, a corpse on a slab that proves we're not the sole pinnacle of creation. If this is real, why hide it for 80 years? Fear of social upheaval. The Brookings report warned that confirming superior intelligent life could destabilize religious and cultural foundations. Fundamentalist interpretations of human specialness would be directly challenged. Mass psychological shock. Loss of social cohesion. Geopolitical control. Whoever cracks alien technology first dominates the future. A zero-sum game in military and economic terms. The incentive is simple. Keep the genie bottled until you alone can wield its power. Admitting weakness. No government readily admits it can't control its own airspace. Acknowledging that superior craft penetrate our defenses unchallenged means admitting military impotence. Self-preservation. Grush claims people have been harmed and even killed to protect the secret. Revealing the program means revealing potentially illegal activities. Those involved would face consequences. Unless forced by undeniable evidence or irrefutable testimony, those holding the secret see more benefit in keeping it rather than sharing it. Pulling all the threads together, the testimony, the linguistic forensics, the hypothesis analysis, one picture emerges as the most consistent. The recovered non-human biologics are likely biotechnological constructs sent or left here by an intelligence that remains unseen. They're non-human in makeup, possibly lab-grown, possibly operating across dimensions. Their creators circumvent our comprehension, which is why no one in authority labels them outright as extraterrestrial or anything else. The avoidance of the word alien indicates even insiders are unsure. We've been combing through the tools, not meeting the toolmaker. The truly unsettling part, for all of our power, there exist technologies and perhaps beings who operate with impunity around us, have done so for at least 80 years. Our institutions have quietly been trying to decode scraps of someone else's playbook, learning just enough to know the situation is beyond our current grasp. Biologics is a riddle word. It offers confirmation that something living, not yet human, is in the equation. But it withholds identity, origin, and intent. After all this analysis, what remains is quiet but profound. We are not alone, not in space, not in time, and perhaps not even in our own reality. And the only thing we truly know about the bodies in the dark is that they are not us.